Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland. Brickey here. It's that time to do a designer walkthrough tour of New Orleans Square, our summer 2021 visit. And one of the first things that I'm noticing is Pirates of the Caribbean. 10-minute wait, 6 o'clock on a Friday night.
We are finding Disneyland once again in a very historical moment, where there's a season pass announcement, the upcoming Magic Key, but no season pass available yet, which is exactly why Disneyland sold that 3-day value ticket to bridge the dead space in their calendar that they knew that would be inevitable.
Now, if you remember, the last time that we came through here, there was massive amounts of lines going through the middle of New Orleans Square because of the fact that all of the lines had to be placed outside due to physical social distancing. But one thing that has remained, a good thing that has remained, is all of these tables and chairs along the rivers of America, where you can sit down, have a meal, and if you can time it just right, you can catch epic views of the Mark Twain rolling by as the good times go by.
Here we see the Samuel Langhorne Clemens float on by, or otherwise known by his pen name, Mark Twain. His novels include Adventures in Tom Sawyer, which ironically is the name of the island behind this beautiful ship that's floating by, and its sequel, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. These novels would come out in 1876 and 1884. The plantation house behind us, the Haunted Mansion, is a style of architecture that was known to be popular in the South in 1830s to 1860. The novels had a lot to do with rafts, which is the little port over here to our side. What I'm getting at is all of this comes together masterfully to celebrate what was referred to as the Great American Novel, which is why this body of water was named the Rivers of America. The Mark Twain Riverboat is the first Disneyland riverboat ever. There are other Disneyland riverboat attractions that appear at Walt Disney World, Tokyo Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris.
If you recall, we had the entire center artery of New Orleans Square was almost exclusively a line. And as we come up here today, that's just not the case. The lower level here is clear of any guests, and the main thoroughfare is moving at a nice pace, where this was bumper to bumper just 3 months ago.
It's wild to think that before New Orleans Square existed, you couldn't easily walk down to the banks of the Rivers of America in many spots, and in some spots, you couldn't get down here at all. I love that when Disneyland creates one land, how it opens up so much more connective tissue between all the other parts of the park.
And there were so many things that obviously we wanted to go away from everything that we went through with the pandemic and COVID-19 and actually what we're still going through. But there are some things, some mothers of invention that have really become a part of the park that I'm enjoying. And having this dining on the edge of the Rivers of America, all these tables across here, this is something that I hope that stays for a very, very long time. However, keep in mind, as soon as Fantasmic comes back, this will have to be removed. So all good things come to an end, but would I trade an epic dining spot for the best Disneyland nighttime show? The answer is yes.
Oh, I didn't bore you with this one the last time, but let me go ahead and talk about one of my favorite characters in the onslaught of all of the maniacs that built Disneyland. Joe Fowler was a rear admiral in the United States Navy. Now, in 1954, Walt Disney was looking for a naval expert to help him with the building of the Mark Twain that was under construction for Disneyland. Fowler was hired then to work on the Mark Twain, but he would stay around for quite a while. He became the construction boss for the entire Disneyland project, going way beyond his responsibilities for the Mark Twain. And after Disneyland was completed, Fowler stayed as the general manager of the park for its first 10 years and assisted with the construction of Walt Disney World. He retired from the Walt Disney Company in 1978, and he continued to be a consultant afterwards. One of the things that I love about Admiral Joe is that he saw Disneyland as if he and Walt were building a real little city. It's important to keep in mind that many of the people that designed Disneyland were from Hollywood, and they had a much more temporary view on construction. They were used to building sets, things that didn't need to go the long haul. But Admiral Joe wanted to build Disneyland like a real town. And one of the things that he knew the riverboats would need would be a port or a dry dock where the boats could come in and be serviced. Walt didn't want to spend money on this, and so there was a pushback on, what are we building? Are we building a little theme park that will deteriorate after a couple of decades, or are we building a real little city, a little town that can go the long haul? We both know that Admiral Joe won this one, and Walt said, fine, we'll give Joe his little ditch. Fowler's Harbor is named after Joe Fowler, and in 1999, one of the ferries that crosses the Seven Seas Lagoons in Walt Disney World was renamed the Admiral Joe Fowler in his honor. Fowler had passed away at age 99 in 1993, just 6 years prior. I love the idea of Walt being a visionary, but also knowing that he needed a military man, a strong arm, if you will, that could get things done and that could get quality resorts, because after all, this park was built in less than 1 year.
One of the best spots in the entire resort. Fowler's Harbor, dare I say, my favorite spot. I'm always surprised how many people have never been back here, and I always get so many people that say, hey, shh, stop telling everybody about this spot. But it is truly one of the best places that you could visit if you want to get away, break up your day, and recharge those Disneyland batteries. Now, I know there's a lot of debate. Will Splash Mountain become a part of New Orleans Square when it becomes themed after the Princess and the Frog? Something we'll definitely be keeping our eye on in this video series. Okay, we have technically wandered out of New Orleans Square, which is our theme of this episode. Let's walk back to the main thoroughfare and check how busy it is 3 months later.
As you walk down this grade back into New Orleans Square, remember, Disneyland put all of the hills, all of the grades everywhere inside of this park. Everything that is pitched up for a reason. This particular slope that we're walking down hides all the lower levels of Splash Mountain so that we can't see the boats going by or the entrance into the show building. It's much like we talked about on last designer walkthrough tour in Big Thunder Mountain, where on the other side of the rivers of America, it's all sloped so that we don't see the queue for Big Thunder. And also, referring to last video in the designer walkthrough series, we talked about Harper Golf designing the interior of the Golden Horseshoe. Well, his sketch in 1951 of a mansion when they were coming up with ideas for Mickey Mouse Park got Walt thinking about creating a haunted mansion. And just 18 years after that sketch and a lot of edits, the haunted mansion would open in 1969.
We'll see the haunted mansion go down soon for its holiday overlay, which will be something exciting to check out when we revisit for our fall walkthrough of New Orleans Square.
It's always fascinated me that the construction of the Haunted Mansion was completed in 1963. Well, at least for the plantation home, which, as I said before, was a style that was designed in the South in 1830 to 1860. Walt wanted one of these overlooking the rivers of America to better set the land in time and location, setting it back into the same time period as Frontierland, although on the other side of America. And I love that it said abandoned for 8 years until it opened up in 1969.
Definitely has been a nice time to visit the resort in between this moment of people knowing there's going to be a new annual pass program, but people not having the new annual pass. We've now wandered over to one of my other favorite parts of the park. Yeah, New Orleans Square has two of my favorite spots. This is Magnolia Park. This is Magnolia Park. If you'll recall, when we did this 3 months ago for our spring session, this area was all part of the queue for the Haunted Mansion, allowing people to go through here and all the switchbacks because we couldn't have anyone inside of the Haunted Mansion for its interior queue. Now, we can be in here today, but this is something that's going to change as we get into our fall designer walkthrough tour, because this will once again become a part of the Haunted Mansion, as the demand for the holiday version is always really, really high. So this area, some of the year, is a cool, chill spot on the edge of New Orleans Square, and then other times of the year, or during pandemic years, it is owned by the Haunted Mansion to hold more people. But it's called Magnolia Park. It has this beautiful fountain in the center, and it's just flanked all around with several benches. This is a really, well, not as many benches as there used to be, which goes to show that we know that the Haunted Mansion holiday version is coming. But in the past, this is definitely a place where you'll see families letting a little one recharge their batteries, or someone like myself just recharging my Disneyland emotional batteries.
Trees at Disneyland are used to block out sight lines and create perfect compositions. The train at Disneyland and its berm does the exact same thing. The New Orleans train station, which was built in 1962, replaced the old Frontierland station. If you've ever been at the New Orleans station and the train stays stopped for a while, this is where the locomotive takes on water from the railroad's water tower if it's needed to take a sip. Mickey's Toontown depot between Toontown and Fantasyland has a water tower as well, but that one's just a prop. These are real steam locomotives, and this is where they go to drink when they're thirsty. Yes, New Orleans Square is the watering hole for the Disneyland Railroad. So I guess with Blue Bayou for everybody and Club 33 for some, New Orleans Square really is the spirits of Disneyland, which partners well with the Haunted Mansion being here.
Now this area will just be covered with people soon if they do some sort of mobile queue or fast pass for the Haunted Mansion. I have heard rumors of people going this way and being allowed to go into the basement, but yeah, I'm not bold enough to knock on the door. I don't want to get in trouble. But it is neat that I've heard rumors that you can come up here and knock on this door and get taken in to the Haunted Mansion, skipping a lot of the interior and just kind of going right into the attraction. I should have knocked.
Walking through this land is always so exciting though, and I love how it's always bending and sending you in different directions, whether you're coming up here to catch the train, and I love listening to the train conductor there try to work the audience while they're just like, what's taking so long? Not understanding that, as we talked about earlier, this is the watering hole for the train. Even though the water doesn't pour down from that spigot, you can see the conductor over there loading up that cube shape behind the actual engine, which is where the water reservoir is for the train. You can see the green light flickering ahead, which indicates that once they are fueled up, they are clear to go and continue their Grand Circle tour. But this land, it's very interesting in that it is designed purposefully to kind of confuse you. And that would go against what most people would want to do for theme park design. They would want to make things very easy to go and get to all the different restaurants, shops, and attractions. But New Orleans Square creates an adventure where there's a fork in the road. The audience, the guest, has to decide left or right. Therefore, in your mind, you're going around always feeling like you're missing something, always trying to decide which way feels more exciting and invigorating to you. This is done on purpose to create adventure. And then there are these little quiet spots like Magnolia Park where you can just hang out and take in the beauty of this great land and this theme park and this beautiful little fountain. It's details like this that are put here for a very great reason, to create that little bit of extra space so that it's just not dining, Haunted Mansion. And all of the different little ways that you can navigate through this land is something that we saw them recreate, and something that I predicted that would happen when they built Batuu for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. The Black Spire has so many other little twists and turns just like this land. And that was something I was really hoping that they would do over there, because it just does create so much adventure. This isn't the New Orleans that we know in Louisiana, but this is the one that we know here. Feels strikingly similar, but also very unique. That little window to the left there, that green shutter, that was a room that was designed at the edge of Club 33, where John Lasseter was going to be able to sit at a little two-top and watch the train go by, because he's a huge train enthusiast. It didn't work out that way for Lasseter, but the little room is still there, and it's very adorable. Here we can come through and see the last time we went, there was stickers on the ground keeping everybody placed apart, because New Orleans Square can back up because of the decision making, because of the tight corridors. This is the first ever expansion to Disneyland. It opened with 0 attractions, and this is something that we'll never see them do again. This is the only park that has a New Orleans Square. Last time, Club 33 members were entering in the old former courtyard of the Angels to get people in a more safe and efficient manner, and not go through this little entryway that we're going to see over here on the left, which inside these doors, there's like a small little shop where you can buy some items, and that's where they sort of, to make sure that your credentials and your reservations are all perfect for your dining experience. Here we see one of the many bridges that are erected up over where the guests walk through, so that both guests can get over into various parts of the club as well as servers. It's so fascinating to think that Disneyland had the idea to build a country club, a more reserved type area for, different clients or different personnel, different customers, really to be able to create a Disneyland experience for everyone at every budget. But it's just fascinating to think that that all exists up above all of the other guests and really doesn't interfere with anybody's good times. It's not like there's a whole big section that you can't get to. Christmas stuff. Love Christmas stuff. Hey, affordable crystals if you need some of those as well, right? Or how about some gold? I don't know who buys this stuff. I don't know who needs a little gold Mickey at a baby grand piano or this fun little Ferris wheel over here. I'm just glad that it exists. I'm glad that not every store has Spirit jerseys and the same stuff. Always look up when you're inside of Disneyland, and this time we're rewarded with this beautiful Victorian ceiling. But getting back to the idea of Club 33, I love that Disney can service that customer and it doesn't ruin the experience for everyone else. Much like the plaid vest VIP tours that never really bother anybody's time, it just is something that exists around everyone else's evening at Disneyland. This little nook in here is a place that I love to explore. You can see the window telling the story of being in the French Quarter, an arts district inside of Disneyland. I do enjoy that they still have the character artists hanging out there on the sidewalks, illustrating people. I always love when there's an illustration of a dog. I'm like, was that dog really here, or are they just doing it from a photo? We still see the construction is taking place at Le Baton Rouge. Who knows what's going on in there? At first, I fell for the signs that maybe they were going to do a restaurant, which would make sense because this would have accessibility to the Blue Bayou and 33 kitchens, but who knows what they've got going on. Last time we came through here, we saw that the Blue Bayou was closed. It has reopened since in several different stages, starting out with hardly any tables, moving up to something that feels familiar to the old times. But what's unfamiliar to the old times is now you can get alcohol inside of the Blue Bayou. I personally don't drink, but for those that do, I'm sure having a couple of cocktails in the middle of the day, I think it's a 2-drink maximum. I'm sure that's something that guests have been enjoying. And now the biggest thing that we've seen happen is this huge box that's been built on the outside here of the French Quarter and the ginormous banner on top. Got to stop and look at this door that looks like a old shipping wheel. But when you look at this banner, a couple of things come to mind. The first is, well, this wasn't here the last time that we did this. Here you can see me pointing out when we did the designer walkthrough tour back in May, how all the different buildings are cut up into slices to make the square feel much larger than it is. And I believe I was also kind of given an explanation of 21 Royal, which is the most premier dining experience one can have at Disneyland. I believe it's you and 12 of your friends for $15,000 for dinner. Sounds reasonable to me. But this banner is a different style of banner. It's very New Orleans, very Cajun, jazz, colors, and patterns. As we do this series, something I'm realizing, it'll be interesting to see the way that they cover up all the different construction projects each time we come into these lands every season. From what I know, they're just touching up the outer facades, working on the banisters, painting stuff. This is not going to be anything new or mind-blowing. Just get some general maintenance done to this area before it gets all spruced up for the holiday season when they hang all the decorations across the street there. But yes, going back to May, you can see how there was a dining area that popped up in this area through here. Definitely something that we hadn't seen before. And they're also doing a lot of character meet and greets the last time around. And those have kind of dissipated a little bit, but I think they needed to kind of entertain people when they're in these overly long outdoor lines. But this giant construction box has definitely changed the vibe, and I'm pretty certain nobody's going to book 21 Royal when most of the windows are blocked out by a giant tarp. So yeah, you probably want to get that project completed as soon as possible. Let's flank back around on the other side of New Orleans Square and just kind of take a little stroll. And this is what I enjoy about this area. Seeing people out, dining, having fun. I'm not eating dinner there. I'm starving and I wish that I could. But when the food was taken out during the pandemic, you really realize how important other people having a good time is for your own good time.
There you go, friends. A walk through New Orleans Square, looking at a lot of the details. And I'm happy to say that I can actually walk up here on this brick thoroughfare, hop into the main path. It's back to flowing again. I think one of the hardest things during the May season was just how congested this part of New Orleans Square was, forcing you to walk along the riverbanks or to take the high road above the square. But now that you can get back to walking at a very brisk pace, which is something I'm good at, it is definitely very, very nice to be able to get back in there and enjoy it the way that I like to breeze through it. Friends, from the edge of a very walk through a bull New Orleans Square with 10-minute walk-on wait times for its two signature attractions, and the Mark Twain trying to blow me out while I'm talking here. Thank you so much for taking this summer 2021 designer walkthrough tour with me. We'll be back in the fall, which you know this land changes maybe more than any during the month of November. So friends, until the next time I see you cruising through New Orleans Square, I'll see you back here on the channel with more designer walkthrough videos. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for leaving a thumbs up. And thank you to Club 1313 for making today's video and all videos possible. So friends, till the next time I see you back in New Orleans Square, enjoying a quiet walk-on attraction Friday evening, I'll see you back here on the channel with more Disneyland designer walkthrough tours.